This is a trade recap for July the 10th, 2012 on the ES Runner and Euro Runner trading systems. Taking profits from 3 a.m., the European cash market open, staying out of the first 15 minutes of the cash market open. We take profits technically then from 3:15 in the morning all the way through into 4:15 in the afternoon. I break up the profit for the ES Runner into the pre-market hours of 3:15 through 9:30, and then from the regular trading hours of 9:30 until 4:15 p.m. This morning, starting from 3:15, which is right about here. There were no trades to go long or short. This trade here at 4 o'clock was not a valid trade to take short because there was a 4 o'clock news release. Let me turn down my speakers there. The system is still giving entry signals right now. There was a 4 a.m. news release that occurred right here. That therefore makes this an invalid trade to take short. So we don't count this as a trade. You don't take it on a candle that's a candle before the news, the candle of news, or the candle after news. No trades are taken. This trade here was a long, but it produced a chase price after the trigger. The first price is what's called the trigger entry price. The chase price is produced when the trigger entry price is not penetrated, thereby guaranteeing a fill. And we don't take chase prices that are worse than 2 points in difference from the trigger. This was 51.50. It had a W print right here. You can't see it because that fast printed over it, but there's a W that prints first before the fast number comes over it. When the W prints, you don't take a trade. So when the W printed, nobody would take this trade, even though it did make the first profit target of 6 ticks and had a runner make as much as almost 4. It would not be a valid trade to take as a long. But the scalp right here is a valid scalp to take. It's a valid inter-series scalp. You can refer to my website for the rules and what an inter-series scalp is. This was a valid one to take, and traders made 6 ticks on that this morning from entry here to there. 6 ticks were made. This is a valid scalp, first number in a series. The first number in a series is where the white line goes to gray and then goes white again. When it turns from gray back to white, a corresponding triangle comes in. That is a triangle that complements the direction that you're in. If you're in a long, it's a green triangle. If you're in a short, it's a red triangle. And then when the opposite direction triangle comes in, those are warning signs. So this was the first start of a new series, evidenced by the green triangle. The first scalp number that comes in here is valid to take. That was taken here for 6 ticks of profit, made right here, and the market hit the 6 ticks again right here. So there was a total of 3 points made by several traders this morning based on the valid trades. So there was a pre-market morning, not bad, 3 points. We usually average about 3 to 4 points pre-market. This is right along lines of the average for the pre-market. The regular trading hour today was fantastic. Many traders made 20 points and more. I don't think there was a trader in the room today that made less than 10 or 12 points. Now we switch to the 2 minutes. I'm going back and calculating. I just came back from a vacation, so I'm going back and looking at the previous days of trades that the traders were in the room. So I'm using 2,500 bars right now in order to go back and calculate the last 4 days worth of trades. But going back here in time, the first valid trade to take today on the 2-minute system was here at 10:08 in the morning. There were no trades when the market opened at 9:30. The valid trade was at 10:08. Chase price was triggered here. Trigger price came out at 51.75. A chase was printed at 51 and change, and then at 49 3/4, which was 2 points in difference. The rule for a chase is we keep the chase price at 2 points or worse, but no greater than 2 points worse in price. This therefore was a valid trade. Many trades got into the 5100 number. That was the first chase printed here because the market hit the chase price at 5100, 1351. It hit it for about a minute and a half. Kept hitting it, kept hitting it, kept hitting it, kept hitting it. Many traders got into the trade at this price, but for the system and for all traders, a guarantee price was right here. That made 8 ticks on the first contract right here. Let me change that to times 1. 8 ticks were made right here, and then a runner's brought to break even. Now, the runner actually, for those that were in the 5100 number, got a runner that made quite a lot of points all the way down. Now that I'm just realizing we actually don't have a runner for the guaranteed price at 49.75 because the break even was right here. For those that got in at 51, many traders in the room, which quite frankly, actually, by the way, nearly everybody in the room got in at 51 because, again, the market hit 51 right here so many times that everybody got filled. So I really would want to say that today the runner made an enormous amount of money for everybody in the room because almost every trader in the room made anywhere from 9, 10, 12, 14 points on this runner because it kept going down and down and down and down and down all the way down here till about 3:52 in the afternoon. It made 56 ticks, the full runner did, to the crossover of the white line. That's where you exit. And that's because I think everybody in the room got the 51 entry price. But the system didn't get a guaranteed 51 entry because the prices didn't go through 51 to 51 and a quarter. So we've got to use the 49 and 3/4. So therefore I've got to take the runner off, which is a shame because really everybody in the room made 9, 10, 12, 14 points on this runner, but I can't count that 14 points. Or that, yeah, so I got to take 56 ticks out of this day's results. And so therefore 56 out of here would leave 42. Still a great day. Still 10.5 points made in the afternoon. So for the remainder of the trades, let me take you through them quickly here. There was a valid scalp, what's called a valid inter-series scalp right here. It made 8 ticks. There was a valid first scalp number in a series. It made 8 ticks. When it gets at about 4, but made 8 right down here. This scalp was not a blue, it's inside the yellow, therefore it's not to be taken by traders. Also, it's during lunchtime, between 12 and 1. We don't take trades during 12 and 1. This sprint came in right here. Traders got into it, made 10 ticks from here to there. These scalps aren't to be taken when you're in a current scalp trade. They're not to be counted. You don't take these when you're in a current trade. This was the first scalp number to series. It made 8 ticks. And then these later scalps are what are called later series scalps. Anything after the first 4 periods are not to be taken. If you go back, there's actually 1 series here, 2 series. This has no scalps against it, which aren't valid. This scalp number is inside of the yellow, but that is a valid series at least because the scalp number was produced. So that's 3 scalp series, 4 scalp series right here. And then the first series is what's called an intra-series. So what we really count, we count first intra-series plus the next series from that point. So intra-series and then 4 more is what's allowed for scalps. So it's really 5 periods of where scalps are produced on a white line. And this is of course indicated in the rules section. We don't take things after those 5 periods because when you get later into a move, it's just scalps tend to fail. So we stay with the first 4 new series after the initial series, so we can count that as a total of 5. The initial series is not counted as a first series because initial series is during the first phase of a trade, and that period is not its own first series starting. It's really after the initial series here. Once the white line breaks into a gray and then goes into white again, this is the first time since entry that scalps have been produced. First time a white line on the stop loss line has been created since the entry was produced. So that's why it's called a first series. To make things simple in the future, I might just call this a first series, call that a second, a third. But the point is we stay within 5 sessions of scalps being produced. So total between all these scalps were 42 ticks for the day. And for those that were more aggressive taking later scalps, this scalp here lost 2 points, and this scalp here ended up actually making 2 points. So people that got in this scalp, taking the first number in a series, they lost here, but then they made it back here. So in the end, this didn't really add or subtract from the day's profits. All right, 42 ticks for regular trading hours and 12 ticks for pre-market. Now, quick recap on the euro here. Euro had a great day. We take trades from 2 a.m. on. The 2 a.m. long here was 145 long, so we don't count this trade, but we had our first sprint. Sprint is when the stop loss line has gone flat for 15 periods, and then the first turn up on the stop loss line, the smart line. Right there it occurs. That is where the corresponding triangle comes in. That's when you take a sprint after 15 periods, and that makes for 20 pips. Entry here, 20 pips is right here. It actually went up to about 22 or 23 pips. And then we have a short here. The first portion of the position, the first half, made 20 pips from entry here to right here. And the second one was brought to a break-even status to become the runner. The break-even, of course, is right about here. The market never came up and hit it. So the runner was allowed to run all the way until 12 p.m. where we take off our profit at 59 pips. We had a scalp here that lost 1 pip from entry here to exit here. It made as much as 12, but it didn't make the 15. And we had a scalp here that went against it and lost 8. So those two equal negative 1, and negative 8 is negative 9. Negative 9 taken out of 50 leaves a positive 50. Positive 50 plus 20 is 70, and 20 and 70 plus 20 is 90. So the Euro runner made 90 pips today on a standard, mini, or micro lot. 90 pips per every standard, mini, or micro lot taken. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in the room tomorrow for those that want to take part in the trial membership. www.es-runner.com is the website. It can be found, trial membership can be found in the trial section, membership subscription section. And you can reach me on email at info@es-runner.com. Thanks very much.